Alright, we're gonna start the car now. Okay. Steering wheel in the middle, hold it.
Okay.
Yes.
Just keep on pressing.
Yes.
Alright.
Not too long on it, just okay. Come. Woo! Whoa, sounds good. Yeah. One more time. Oh. Last. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Alright. Whoa.
When I switched to Pro Mileage, in my case, I got 46-47% of savings for that car.
Pro Mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper, a lot less. A lot Turn up!
Guys, I'm here. Yes, this is the 296 GTB. Okay, I saw this car from the pictures and I didn't think of it much. I didn't think much of it seriously. I saw the pictures and I was like, oh yeah, another baby Ferrari. But let me tell you, the best angle to look at this car is this. I was smitten the moment I walked in. Yes, that's a familiar sight because it somewhat looks like an SF90, but as my eyes just gleam across this surface and this souped up, and from here onwards, this intake and then this, what it tells me is that this harks back to the super sports cars of the 1960s and 70s, and then we're reminded this is, for a long time, a V6 engine Ferrari. Now there's a unique story with the whole V6 thing, right? Ferrari has never put into production a road car with the Ferrari name having a V6 engine. Now I don't know whether this is a selling point or not, right? But we all know there's the Dino. The Dino is a 6-cylinder car, but actually the Dino doesn't carry the Ferrari name. The Dino is of course road legal as well. And before that, all the 6-cylinder Ferraris are all race cars, you know, purpose-built race cars, you know, smaller block, lighter and all that. But we're in the new era, the era where the power of electrification was able to improve performance so vastly and remove any deficiencies of petrol combustion engine, that this is now the right time for Ferrari to consider downsizing, but for weight and performance, because this car now produce a system output of 830 horsepower. This is no baby Ferrari. It's not a baby Ferrari, right? It is fast. So Ferrari now is in the crossing line whereby they're stepping into the new world, and the SF90 and this one is the harbinger of it. All right, of course we all know the SF90 is 1,000 horsepower, you know, hypercar that is super easy to drive, very easy to extract performance, and is so user friendly that anyone can just pop in and then, you know, extract a lot of performance out of it. Ferrari is now within the supercar makers the most advanced one. If you think about it, in terms of what Ferrari puts into their cars, the way they assist the drivers, the way they manage power output, the kind of technology that they put in, right? Ferrari actually is at the forefront in terms of technology. Now, coming back to the design, as I look at all this, and then as I walked over, my mouth just gaped. Look at this piece of art, right? Look at how the lights move around this car. Look at that. This is a work of art, seriously. Oh, I'm so happy to see Ferrari coming back to these type of designs that, you know, resemble what they used to be. Alright, now mind you, it's glass, but there is a sports package where if you order that, it comes in plexi and you save about 3 kilos of weight. And that's where you refuel, and that's where you charge. And I especially love this part, the blacked out A-pillar and this line, this distinctly Italian line that just cuts up like that, and then the roof comes over, and then you'll be thinking, why does it look like that? Does it look like the Koenigsegg where you can remove this? No, this is actually a spoiler, an integrated spoiler. Remember how the 599 actually has a flying buttress, basically 2 wings hiding by the side, and then there it goes like that, and this is actually a wing. So let's look through how the air flows around the car. Okay, we start with the front, right? This ducts in air. See the little carbon bits over there, and look at this. I tell you, in terms of aerodynamics, Ferrari again is on another level. They're playing in another, you know, dimension. You know how it cuts air open to left and right, and then all this to create downforce using this really intricate front aero bits. And then here you have the lips that drives air, of course, we all know that, right? Drives air up here, and then these goes into the wheel well, you know, to draw air out, to reduce drag. And then here it goes to the cooling systems. You look at how they mount. You see that? Look at how they place it slanted. Amazing, right? The heat exchangers. It's slanted. Right. All this, of course, is an intricate work where air is being caressed and moved around the body of the car. And you look at the side mirrors, you can imagine how the air flows by, right? And of course goes straight into this, into the engine's intake, right? These two can I call them the side pods? Amazing. Okay, and from inside here, that's the V6 engine. It lays really low, deep down under. All right, and these are actually the turbochargers being routed up here, and it's 120 degree V6. Think about it, 120 degrees. Both the banks, right? Another 30 degrees, it will be a boxer engine. It's that low. All right, it is that low. And here, you see these vents, the metal vents. All right, as the heating, the hot air comes out, that spoiler pulls air in, drives them out here. And coming here, you see these as well. The air dives in here, comes out here. Okay, and that's the exhaust, the beautiful exhaust integrated here. And there's the Cavallino. I kind of wish they put the, the Cavallino coming up here, the prancing horse, and then this is an active spoiler. There's another spoiler that's hidden there that can raise up, but it does it automatically. You cannot use it to say hello to your friends, but the rear angle of this car is really where the whole design shines, because it's just flowing surfaces after flowing surfaces, and it's just a thing of beauty, absolute beauty. Alright, of course there is a lot of options. As you know, Ferraris only come with carbon ceramic brakes, but this car you can also spec carbon wheels. Alright, so the system output 830 horsepower, and the engine alone produces about 660-ish, and then the remaining ones produced by the electric motor. Okay, but unlike the SF90, where there is a front motor there, everything about this car stays behind. Okay, in a way this is a sportier, hardcore, modern, high-tech plug-in hybrid super sports Ferrari with a mid-engine. Alright, with a range of 20 over kms for electric, pure electric, and then if you run out of electric charge, you can actually force charge the car with the engine. The batteries are placed behind the driver, so it's at the optimum position where the biggest weight is, But the thing is, this car is just, it is, it actually defies your perception, because when you look at it, you thought it's a very gentleman, elegant, Ferrari that's clean. But then as you look deep, there's so much work being put in. There's so much work being put in to just allow performance to be enjoyed. So inside is all high-tech. Okay, let's start from how the doors look. Alright, of course, carbon should be everywhere. It's a Ferrari, nevertheless. Alcantara, leather stitching, those Italian leather smell. It's just so nice, right? This is where you pop the hood. This is where the fuel cap. This is the charging port. Alright, and from inside of the car, you have an electronic release for the doors. The Ferrari has used them on many cars, so no issues with that. Now it still sits really low. This is unlike a Roma, whereby you sit higher. This is actually that of a super sports car. Now, whatever you hear in here, let me remind you, this is a pre-production car. Yes, this is a pre-production car, and the carbon fiber, the gloss carbon fiber at the back, is rubbing against some leather bits. All right, sorry for that. Now look at the design of this part. I love this design. The leather dashboard actually wraps around this edge. Okay, and the stitchings run along together, and is two leather pieces. I love how they come up with this. This is really nice. Most cars, this part, you know, I mean, they don't go with leather. And then this one, the carbon fiber bits, the matte carbon fiber, and then with the adjust for the air cons, you know. And here's a touch sensitive panel for your light switches and all that. And down here, again, beautiful leather bits. Now up here we have the heads-up display, the whole cockpit cover, and I think Ferrari just nailed it. This design is just both elegant, high-tech, spaceship-like in a way, and it's really nice. Okay, let me turn on the system so we can see this is how Ferrari's LCD dash currently looks like. Look at that. A lot of stuff going on. Yep, no two words about it. And everything on the steering wheel is touch sensitive. What I still couldn't accept is that the start stop is still here. Why? Because pressing the button, you know, there's the expectation of something cranking, right? But in these modern Ferraris, when you press the button, it's the electric motor that starts up and the system starts up, so the engine doesn't fire up. So without an engine firing, but with the red button being pressed, it sort of gives people the impression that something might not be working, you know. So they've decided, they're really brave at this, to just change the engine start stop to a touch sensitive panel to maybe drive down the importance of actually pressing a button to start the car. Alright, nevertheless, the Malatino switch is still here on the steering wheel, you know, you still can twist them. But of course the funny thing is that, you know, you can adjust wipers with a physical button, but you cannot start the car with a physical switch. Alright, there's the aircon control panels over here. We're familiar with that from other Ferraris. There's the screen over here introducing the FF. And over here, we're familiar with this now. You know, came with the Roma and then the other cars. This is to remind people of the gated shifters. Alright, but given that we've moved into new century now, right, it is just a reminder of how things were. Okay, this is the cup holder that we're familiar with. You can actually flip it to the other side. The whole thing is cast metal, you know, so you get two. And here's the key. Ferrari keys are easily the most beautiful now. Oops, it's pretty tough. Okay, maybe they have they made something to slot the key in there, just make it stay. They don't want it to move about, because this is a demo car, pre-production demo car that will be traveling around the world to be showcased to customers. All right, here you have a little holder with your ports and then some nets behind. That's about it. And options is of course unlimited. All right, this is Ferrari anyway. Some frameless glass, touch panel as well, all up here. And of course these are expected. All right, the cabin is low. You sit as low as a 4, you know, those like 458, 488 and all that. That's how low you sit. All right, let me pop this. Show a bit more. Thank you, Thomas. See, from the top, right? Look at it. I like how they are able to hide things. Look at this. This looks just like a simple piece of glass, right? But as the glass curves, it creates shadows, right? And it's the shadows where they hide the structure behind. Look at that, the metal That's the whole metal structure. That's the metal structure. See the welding over here? But from the other side, you don't see this ungainly thing. I mean, that's mind-blowing. Italians. Right here, it looks as though this body panel colored part is sort of floating the glass with a net, you know, but the magic is here. How much effort they put in to actually engineer something like that. Now, of course, a lot of carbon fiber. I want you to look at that red cover over there. Yes, that's the upper that's the upper block. That's where you have your, you know, you have your cams, you have your spark plugs. Everything is over there. One side on the V bank. Is this still a V? You know, is this still a V? I bet you write this V in class, your teacher's gonna mark you, you know, because it's so wide, it's 120 degrees, right? And of course, before the transmission, you will have the electric motor, and then, you know, Ferrari used to have the intake planon on top, painted red color, but now they moved the turbochargers here, so this thing has to be aluminium, you know, it has to be free of color because it's really hot, right? Right. So amazing. Exhaust go, and then out, and then back into the intake over there. Work of art, work of art. Alright. Of course, there's a crossbar. Alright. Last bit I'm going to show you, which is how you carry your luggage. Alright. And of course, with every modern Ferrari, you have the specifications of the car all laser etched onto this aluminum panel, and then it's put here for all to see. Some leather straps for the stuffs, and then of course everything is carbon fiber. Alright, this is the 296 GTB. Absolutely beautiful. In terms of pricing, it is above that of the Roma, it is above that of the F8, you know, just slightly, or about that, thereabouts. And then it means something different. F8 is pure ICE, you know, pure performance. This is performance as well, a lot of it in fact, but high tech. Think of it as a baby SF90. Alright, cheers. 1.2 million before tax, but that's expected, right? It's a Ferrari. You may be able to dump in another 1 million of options, but what surprises us all is the 1.4 ton weight. Think of it this way: a car this big, a super sports car this big, with an engine and hybrid drivetrain, battery pack that produces 800 over horsepower, only weighs 1.4. Think about that for a moment. Alright? Cheers.